Rainmakers up 4-3 at the start of the second period. And I got to say, both teams seem to be content. Neither one pulling away, but neither one really having a strategy that they're finding is super effective against their opponent.
And here we go with the second quarter.
And there you got McCarty with the disc. He bombs it out. You're going to see Zemmel center to Simon or Rupp. But the Dogfish defense gets down there fast enough. They're going a little junky right now. As Weaver moves over, Al Salam catching it, moving it straight up to Entz. As everybody catches up, Entz straight back to Rupp, over to Zemmel. Simon going downfield, and Simon's going to be able to bring that in. There's a very effective shot over from Tommy Fresh Rosado to Adam Simon.
The Rainmakers moved the disc so quickly that time. The Dogfish could not keep pace. That was the way Seattle wants to run their offense.
You know, what do you do if you're guarding Simon? If you're guarding one of these players who's a rock of the offense, but if you try to send him upfield, he'll punish you like that.
He absolutely will, and that's a smart move by him. He's got to be dangerous deep instead of just sticking around the disc all the time, and it shows how effective that can be.
You know, I think one of the reasons Simon is so effective is because there isn't a place that you can put him that you feel comfortable. You know, he's not somebody like Isaac Entz, for example, who's 6'6". You know where you don't want him to be. You can't let him get behind you, so you push him under and just hope that it's not going to hurt you too much.
Yeah, he's comfortable going away or coming under, and he's shifty. He can get open around the disc to the break side to the open side.
That was Alex Duffel with every pull for the Rainmakers so far. Centering it over to Hart. Moving it up, and that disc pops up just a little bit. We've got Sleva picks up the trash. Henry Fan, a little trap back there, hoping for a break, getting double teamed right now, and it pays off.
Is that Pollard?
That's Pollard. Between Pollard and Boucher, Fan didn't have anyone to look for, and just ends up throwing it right into the long arm.
Why did Seattle not send someone back to help?
And there's a shot right over to Pollard. And, ooh, the long arms of Pollard try to get over Fan, but Fan bodies him out, makes it hard to see and hard to keep steady in the air and pull that one down.
Yeah, we've seen some questionable choices in the last few throws here. See if, oh, there's Feely coming over the top. That was an excellent look.
Then Sewell, right over back to Feely. Feely trying those bendy backhands and just misread over there by Gallagher.
I think that wind is trickier.
There's Boucher shooting another one. It's another game of 500, but this one comes down by Caulfield. Skying everybody. Back to Hart. Hart tries to dish it in and gets it there. Past a diving Todd Sleva.
Great opportunity slipped away there by the Rainmakers.
You know, what I hate to see about that are those throws where they're uncontested, but that wind pops it up or something, and it's just an unforced error.
Yeah, Seattle's got to be not happy with that. When Fan had the disc on the sideline, I would have liked to have seen a teammate come help him out, come to the dump position so that he could swing that disc and have multiple options rather than just simply upfield.
Absolutely. You know, the whole danger of the double team is that you got a 2-on-1 with the disc, but you only have 5-on-6 back there. You're leaving somebody open. That person has to come back and help out the guy with the disc. There's a very nice pull coming up, popping up in that wind like you've seen a lot of throws do. And, oh, it's Zemmel to Simon, big surprise. There's another play call with a horizontal stack, but a junky defense is going to prevent the play from working, which is exactly San Francisco's plan.
Interesting adjustment. Seattle gone to the host stack because they're moving the disc so much better than they were in the vertical stack, and now San Francisco recognizing that and going junk.
Absolutely. Though they are a little dangerous. Open shot, Danny Tridiak, who can find any hole. He could hit an ant in the end zone.
Jimmy Chu seeing his first action.
That's right. Back to Rupp. Chu coming across. That junk is still staying junk. It hasn't really transitioned yet, and now we're just seeing that transition. Break over to Danny Tridiak. Tridiak, who throws creative things, this time a backhand. Pulled down by Chu. Chu dishing it to Salam for a hard-fought goal by Seattle.
Gotta love that. Jimmy Chu, one of the old guard, one of the early Moho guys, Seattle product, coming to the new wave of Seattle youth. Seattle's got to be enjoying that, though. Those kinds of points are a lot of fun. Some great layouts, nice plays, getting the crowd excited. See if that momentum can get Seattle another D.
They're trying to send it to Simon like they always do, but it turns out it's Dogfish disc. And Hart's going to bring that in as the Dogfish set up awfully deep. They have a play call, and Boucher is out in the middle with Henry Fan trying to challenge him on the ISO. Dish it back to Lee. And Lee stuck back there after that play call. Didn't work, but brings it out to Stearns. Stearns looking very open. Moves it back. There's a lot of nice space for this horizontal movement. Lee with the disc takes a big flick shot. That's floating. It's going to stay in bounds. It does, and a great grab. Caulfield, who pulls it down. 5 for the Dogfish to Rainmakers 6. Beautiful read by Caulfield there.
That was a great catch. Sam Pickle was right there with him. Sam seeing his first point of the game and just getting things loose, but that was a great catch.
Great catch, and really a pretty wise throw. There's Rainmakers 6 to Dogfish 5. Really wise throw by Corey Lee. He throws that flick that bends. It makes it harder to catch for the offense, but it makes it almost impossible for the D to do anything about it.
It's true. I mean, I would love to see him take that shot more if I'm the Rainmakers, because it's a difficult catch to be made 100% of the time.
That's right. The tough part for the defense is it's so high above you and it's coming behind you. It's hard to find the disc and keep your hips in the right position to play D, but that's the same reason it's hard to catch for Caulfield, who made a great one-handed turnaround grab there. Center to Simon, big surprise. Simon a little stifled with the disc, moves it over to Khalif El Salam. Salam looking deep. Oh, this is going to be a battle. Tridiak trying to use body out from everybody. It floats over everyone to Tommy Fresh. Rosado, who reads it, sends it over to Zemmel, right back, bounce out, and Zemmel brings it in with a little dishy for a show. You think that was called up to have Danny Tridiak sit there, fool 3 defenders, and let the disc float over all of them over to Tommy Fresh?
Oh, my gosh, the Rainmakers living large there. Getting a little lucky, perhaps.
The Rainmakers do have a better road. There's Matty Zemmel over there, and it's on the left, and Tridiak on the bottom. Jimmy Chu giving them all a little word of advice. The Rainmakers do seem to do really well in their home stadium here at Renton, and I think one of the reasons, there's Yeager on the other side, one of the reasons for that is that they do tend to play this game that's a little more energetic and a little more risky. And when you have the energy on your side, that really works. But you see the Dogfish, who are playing an away game right now, they're so bread and butter, so catches and throws, side-to-side movement, punch it in, that without the energy of the crowd, they can still play a great game.
That's true. Let's see if Seattle here can open up this 2-point lead, perhaps generate another turn.
That's right. Corey Lee with the disc, moves it over to Hart. San Francisco really playing a space offense. You don't really see a big setup. Oh, a little lucky there as Corey Lee falls down. And there's Bubernak, his first point of the game, moving it over, calling a timeout. So this is a little different now. At the timeout, you have free subbing. You're going to see an entire offensive line come out to try to put this critical break in that right side end zone.
With the transition momentum there, would you have called that timeout?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if I would. There's 6 minutes left in the half, and if you don't use at least one timeout in the half, you're going to lose it. You're allowed one per half in a floater. And I guess they figure, let's get the disc in. I'm guessing Adam Simon's hands, West Coast MVP last year. Good shot for MVP this year. He is a killer player. They're going to put their O-line on, try to get it on. The problem with that is Dogfish now gets to put their D-line on.
That's true.
You can hear that crowd chanting, firing up that offense as they're going a vertical stack. San Francisco responding with a man offense.
And you called it. Pardon. You called it with Simon behind the wheels here. He's got the disc.
Folks looking pretty far away, and you can see San Francisco going to put on that flick mark, hoping that the flick is just hard enough with this wet condition, as Rupp is back there, looking for Rupp right away. Not sure what to do, a little stuck. Nice break mark over to Zemmel. Zemmel continues the break to an open Tommy Fresh, brings it in. Crowd loves that break to bring the Rainmakers up 8-5.
Perfect strategy.
It works, you know. If you can get those breaks around, it really opens it up. You saw that break moves over to Zemmel, and Zemmel right there all smiles. He just got some ice cream, and he shoots it straight to Tommy Fresh, Tommy Rosado, number 25, who saw that continuation and kept moving to that sideline.
Zemmel and Rosado have been involved in a lot of the scores, both throwing and catching.
You know, it's odd. What we were talking about last week is that the Rainmakers were leaning too heavily on a couple key players. This week, they're still leaning heavily on players, but it's different players this week.
Yeah, it just shows you a lot of these guys are capable at this level. Given an opportunity, they can step up.
There's Alex Duffel. Takes a big pull. And that's floating. Great pull as the Rainmakers hustle down. Over to Hart. Big vertical stack. And a couple switches on defense, which stifled the offense a little bit. Over to Hart, to Lee. There's a deep shot possible. Lee's going to take it, but that's popping up real high. Alex Duffel in the air. Gets up huge. Launches up. Takes it down.
Fronting and switching there, utilized by Seattle, really caused some confusion. And another throw that popped up in the air.
That's right. There's another chance for a break. Eddie Feely with the disc. And there's a timeout call by Steve Gusson. The coach takes the timeout.
Here comes the O.
Here comes the O for Seattle and the D for Dogfish. You can see everybody switching out now. All smiles on Seattle right now. You know, they can't be too confident with a general lead because we've seen that slip away from Seattle too many times. But this lead is getting up there, 8-5 right now. If they can put this in, that's another break, 2 in a row, bringing it up to 9-5. That's got to be rough on the Dogfish. See that crowd going wild.
See if they can surf this wave of crowd enthusiasm. And as you can see in this, the wind is pretty strong on the field. It's picked up definitely compared to first pole.
That's right. Wind's blowing to the left and away from us, as you can see on that flag. It's flying proud. Now, how's that wind going to affect the strategy? We saw a lot of wind last week, and it seemed to help San Francisco.
Both teams need to continue to take their shots and just make sure that their feet are set, that they're balanced, and execute. Can't throw anything frivolously.
There's that double team we saw last week out of San Francisco Dogfish, trying it again against Simon. Of course, that's leaving somebody open, but they're playing junkie right now. Simon with a giant hammer over to Tommy Rosado, who's looking for the giant. Bryden on D. Bryden knocks it down, gets in front of Isaac Entz.
Yeah, that did not have enough air under it to allow Entz to make a big jump. Came in a little hot.
You know, that's that wind acting again. When you're throwing it with the wind, it doesn't float very much. It just kind of lasers down, and there's going to be another timeout call. Everybody's trying to slow it down. There's head ref John Ladd.
But Simon there showing what you can do if you set your feet and put that spin on the disc. Throws that beautiful hammer that really opened up the situation.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. You know, that's a risk that the San Francisco defense is taking. They're trying to make that turnover happen right away. Once that disc gets out of the trap zone, then it's really a open ball game for Seattle. It's hunting season because they have one more player than San Francisco does out there.
The big target of Entz streaking deep was just hard to avoid. But with that wind, may not have been the wisest shot.
There's Sewell. There's Husak waiting for the defense to come up. Gonna have Rory Gallagher on the mark. With that flick mark, you're seeing a bit of a junky defense. Henry Fan, that was a little curious. Henry Fan didn't even mind when Boucher was shooting deep, figuring, you know what, let them take that deep shot into the wind. That's what we want them to take, and that's not what San Francisco's known for. Husak all smiles. He's saying, I'm not taking that. Don't worry. Junkie Sleva drops out into the open side lane, so they move it right over to his man Pollard. Pollard with a big flick shot, very pretty shot. It's going to float. Biener coming up behind San Francisco, and it floats over. What a grab by Hart. Looking for a call. Ladd explaining something.
Boucher was fouled, but since Hart picked up the trash, he's going to take it up there.
Wow. Boucher fouled on that one from behind as Biener and Fan both go for the disc. It pops over. And that's 98. There's Kissman getting over. Moving it back, finding Boucher. Boucher lasers it in for a goal that quiets this Seattle crowd as the Dogfish bring it back within 2.
And you can see why Boucher is so valuable to the Dogfish. Very nimble, very agile, able to get open on the dump, and then the laser right on the money.
Beautiful shot as the Dogfish bring it within 2, which they have to be pretty comfortable with.
Yeah, things were not looking good a few minutes ago, so be back to 8-6. They got to be happy.
That's right. There's Yeager with the disc ready to pull. And I think being down 2 is one of the most critical points in Ultimate. If you can get this break, if San Francisco gets this break, then it's 8-7. That is as close as you can get without, being tied. If Seattle can put this in, it's 9-6 as we're winding down the first half. Being down 3 is really being down. This is a big point here.
Seattle would like to finish this half strong, the last 4.5 minutes, get that crowd amped up for halftime.
That's right. There's Simon with the disc. Moving it over to Chu. Chu, looking at a deep salam, decides to look it off, send it back to Simon and play a little small ball. Over to Entz, who was being backed. I would too. There's Danny Tridiak with the disc. Shoots it over to Simon. Simon dishes it up to a great bid by Jimmy Chu, who then finds Khalif El Salam in the end zone for a little circus point.
Oh, it's a party in Seattle.
There's a party in Seattle. They are all smiles.
That's the way they like to do it. Please the crowd, have some fun.
I'll tell you what I really like to see there. When Danny Tridiak caught that in cut, instead of turning around, he's got some of the best throws in the game. I mean, he puts it anywhere. Instead of turning around, he just dished it straight to Simon. Instead of taking it himself, he says, this is a team game. You're the one with the momentum. You're facing the right direction. You take it. And then Simon can put an easy backhand over to a diving Jimmy Chu.
I agree. It was a great choice by Danny. It's a tight window, but he knew he had the room. Slipped it in there. And Simon delivered.
There's Feely playing general as Duffel gets ready for the pull. Rainmakers up 9-6. That wind going a little bit to the left. Mostly it's now just straight away from us. Windy enough for San Francisco to let the disc hit the ground. Very junky, small zone by Seattle. Trying to strand those two Dogfish players, but they break it through. Instead of going deep, he dumps it right back. Over to Boucher again. Boucher to Pollard. Boucher draws it over. Manages to get it over. And there's the shot for the end zone. And it's going to go in.
Seattle never could catch up that time when they went man after coming junk. San Francisco looked very smooth.
That's right. Once they broke it open, they were able to get it straight through. You know, those are those risks we talk about, though. Sometimes you're just risking. We're going to go for the turnover right now, and if the opponent is able to break it through that zone, which they did, Boucher found a hole, shot it right through, then Boucher to Pollard, then it's quick movement before the defense can really catch up, set a zone, or go man.
And Seattle's made great use of coming junk previously this first half. They've been able to make a good living off of it.
Absolutely. We'll see if San Francisco is going to use the same strategy or if they're just going to go man here. As they run down, Simon in the middle, of course. Rupp over to Simon. And it's going to be a man defense. Get it over to Rosado. Rosado looking for anything. Wow, Simon shut down. And Boyd Meredith playing such good D, he doesn't even have to see the disc. He's just in the lane right there. Boyd Meredith takes a big shot. It's going to float. There's going to be a battle. Big ups.
Oh, no.
And it pops over to McCarty, who pulls it down behind everybody.
Heads up play by McCarty.
It's absolutely. That shot was to Adamson. And you had both McCarty's guy, was Tommy Rosado, and Danny Tridiak shooting over, trying to get that D. They just pop it up, and there's a wise play by McCarty who says, I'm not going to get into this. I'm just going to sit back and catch it easy.
Yeah, I thought Seattle had the sure D there, but it's one of those things where if you don't make the grab, it leaves the opportunity open for someone coming behind.
And this is making it close again. Rainmakers up. They were 9-6 sitting pretty a little bit ago, and now Dogfish are back up to 8 within a point of the Rainmakers as the wind's dying down. You can hear that home crowd going wild as the pull comes off. It's going to be Zemmel over to Simon. You got a horizontal stack, and there's a set play. Has Entz going deep. That's going to worry everybody. Jimmy Chu comes over to Salam. Now Salam moves it up to Entz. Entz, a nice job. He went deep and then just comes over. Gets it over to Simon, who shots a giant hammer over to Zemmel. A little dish and it goes in. Once again, that defense broken over with a huge hammer by Simon across the field.
So valuable.
Absolutely.
Just opens everything up when you can get that disc changing sides of the field quickly. Then suddenly the defenders are on the wrong side of their guy.
That's right, 10-8. You see Ulrich Fox there walking back. Looking all business right now. That was just our job. Put it in the end zone, and that's what we did. There's the Frost Giant Isaac Entz, number 51. He really opened that up. He shot out deep right away, drew some people with him. They're so scared of him going deep. Then he just turned hard, cut under, and got about 15 yards on that undercut.
See if the Dogfish can answer back.
2 minutes, 40 seconds left in the quarter. Pretty high-scoring game. It's 10-8 already. We're not even done with the first half.
Let's see if Seattle comes man to shake things up.
The pull coming out. Corey Lee lets it hit the ground.
They stay junk.
They're staying junky, and they are successfully stopping Corey, who has to shoot it across like a laser. Still a little stuck back here. Ooh, back over to Meyer. Sewell making sure he's all right and just admitting, yeah, that was a foul. I know. As long as everybody's all right. Good sportsmanship there. Lots of a drop by Caulfield. Fan picks up the disc over to Beener. One of Beener's first few points. Feely looking upfield a whole lot, not moving it side to side very much. Gets over to Fan. Minute 50 left in the quarter.
His contingent of fans.
That's right.
Calling him out.
They really haven't opened it up by using the left side of the field, but Bubernak not able to get there past a diving Corey Lee, who just makes sure nobody's able to get in.
Seattle really wants to get it off the sideline there. They don't want to hold it on the sideline so long, and that's what can happen. You end up forcing it up the sideline into a turnover.
That's right. San Francisco doing what Seattle was not. Husak moves it over to Boucher, moves it all the way over to Pollard, back to Husak, back to Boucher. There's a lot of distance moving. And finally, it opens up to a big shot. Whoa, Henry Fan flying, diving sideways to hit that disc down. That homegrown talent shot to Boucher. Henry Fan flies sideways. The crowd loves it.
Fantastic D by Henry.
Picks it up back to Fan. We're down to under a minute left. Todd Sleva with the disc. Shoots it up to Skip Sewell. Sewell just a few yards out. 45 seconds left, and there's a foul right away. Looks like it's going to be on Corey Lee, who's not happy with that call.
That was some odd contact. Hard to tell who initiated.
Corey Lee complaining that he was just stationary, and Sewell running into him. Sewell going to put this disc in. 42 seconds left in the quarter. Shoots it right away to Gallagher for the score, bringing Rainmakers up by 3 again. 11-8 Rainmakers. Home crowd excited on that one.
Dramatic D's. Seattle crowd loving it. That pumps up the Rainmakers. Let's see if we can get in their legs to get another one.
41 seconds left in the second quarter. Rainmakers up 11-8. You notice these new jersey designs? That's by Breakmark Ultimate. Breakmark's the official merchandiser of the MLU, providing gear for all MLU officials and producing the official headwear of the league. Breakmark produces high-quality custom Ultimate gear for high school, college, and club teams. You can look for them at breakmark.com for all your Ultimate apparel needs. And they're showing off the newest styles, 3-piece suits and bow ties, and, of course, cannons and a little love from former Rainmaker Mark Burton. Disc floating like crazy. Floating way out of bounds. That wind still blowing plenty away from us.
Between that, or before the pull, GM Woody and Coach Safety from the Dogfish were in the referee's ear talking and pleading their case that, boy, there was a big push-off from Skip Sewell on that foul call.
That's right. Feely trying the typical forehand mark, but against a lefty, that's backhand. Moving it up the backhand side. There's Caulfield with the disc. A little bit trapped there. Moves it all the way over to Boucher, who shoots all the way over to a streaking Dogfish, shoots it in the air, and Corey Lee goes and becomes Astronaut Lee, gets up plenty high.
5'7", Corey Lee, showing he can get up in the air.
That's right, he climbs the ladder and pulls down that point. 17 seconds left. Rainmakers still up 2. 17 seconds, they're going to want to put that in, but it's going to be tough going slightly into the wind.
I liked Seattle's chances when that throw went up, but Lee with a spectacular grab.
There's Bellinger thrilled. You know, they do say behind every spectacular catch is a poorly chosen throw.
Indeed.
I don't know if that throw into traffic was really what San Francisco's game plan was. Here you can see it. Sleva going up, Kalmakis going up, and Corey Lee pulling it down anyway.
Yeah, the window closed just before Sleva could get there.
Here's the pull. Clock's going to start as soon as Seattle touches it. Great pull. Seattle's got a long way to go for 17 seconds. Crowd chanting, make it rain, as they want to end this first half. Simon with the disc, 10 seconds left, launches it into the end zone. It's going to be a game of 500. Isaac Entz over there, and it's batted down. While you had El Salam, one of the more athletic deeps in the league, and 6'6" Isaac Entz. But they can't bring it, and that'll bring that first half to a close. Rainmakers leading the Dogfish here in Renton Memorial Stadium, 11-9. Well, Seattle coach Gusson looking quite serious, so is San Francisco head coach Safety. So we don't know what they said to their players, but we'll see if it pans out as Duffel pulls over to the Dogfish. Send it over to Husak. Gets a bump right away from Feely. Back over to Boucher, of course. And that lateral movement again as it moves over to Meyer, over to Husak, and upfield as Gallagher's chasing. Pollard looking to move it again. There's a lot of space here. Whoa, that's a high throw that Sewell is going to eat up.
Yeah, that just got away from Husak. When they went to their vertical, suddenly their flow stopped cold.
That's right. Duffel with the disc, dumps it back to Feely. Over to Fan. Now Seattle. Ooh, little tip on that, but Duffel still manages to bring it in. Now Seattle's really using that lateral movement like we like. All the way over to Sleva. Sleva, normally a deep shot. Back to Fan. Little give and go from Sleva. Long arms bring it in and shoots it straight up to Gallagher. And you can hear the crowd. That one worked just fine. Brings it up Rainmakers 12 as they kick off the second half with a break.
Way to start the second half for the Rainmakers. Very solid after the turn, moving the disc, and then Sleva with the gorgeous throw.
I got to say, I agree 100%. That is the kind of offense that the defense of Seattle is showing both teams. This is how it should be running. Back to the fundamentals that you were saying that San Francisco started with. Rainmakers coming out on D, right next to Duffel there. And Bubernak, we are seeing some new faces on the D-line. Some people who have only been playing under 5 points so far, putting them on and getting everyone involved, making sure that they hold on to this lead with these fresh legs.
Yeah, I like the idea. You've got a little cushion. Why not get those legs out there? Make sure you don't overdo it.
Kalmakis flying down, and nice work, sticks Boucher with the disc. Boucher's able to move it up, though. And now Hart. Back, ooh, scary catch. But Boucher holds on to it. Moving it right up. And there's the big lefty backhand looking beautiful. Sleva's going to get there. It's a big jump ball, triple jump ball. Unbelievable as Caulfield comes through. There's going to be a call, though. Nobody able to really get their feet under them and get up for the disc. There's too many people in a row. As he gets all the way down.
Wow, that was just really improbable, but a heck of a hustle play by Caulfield.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. It's a hustle play. He didn't give up on that disc, and he said, you know, something might happen where I'm going to be helpful. And he came through and was helpful, bringing the Dogfish within 2. There's a centered assignment as usual. There's a side stack. There's a play call. Over to Zemmel. Zemmel bobbles it but holds on. The crowd loving this deep shot to Salam. Beautiful shot. Salam can't bring it in. The crowd yelling, make it rain. Salam a little pump. Annoyed he can't bring it in. And that dishy to Tridiak. And they are doing a little joy dance. Tridiak looking really solid with that disc.
Yeah, I love the way that they are moving it so quickly. That is just hard to contain.
Everybody congratulating Zemmel over there with that beautiful flick huck.
Yeah, I love seeing Mendy when he gets that flick out ready to unleash it. Oh, my gosh, he can uncork a beauty.
Smiles all the way. And that 13-10 Rainmakers, you can hear the crowd cheering on Matty Zemmel, the homegrown Khalif El Salam talent.
Yeah, this crowd loves seeing Khalif catch that disc.
And there's Weaver. Can't be too upset with that defense. You know, it was just a perfect throw on a very athletic cutter. He was as close as he could be. He tried to make the window small, but Zemmel hit it.
And that was a quick answer by the Rainmakers.
That's right. There's a laser pull by Duffel. Going to be a little scary to catch, but no problem for Grant. Centers to Boucher. I'm sorry, that's not Grant. That's Husak. Back to Boucher. There's a possible shot. Doesn't take it after Sleva.
Interesting, the Dogfish brought Boucher back that time. Ran a little return, give-and-go situation with him rather than starting him downfield.
That's right. Hurst with the disc, floats it over Sleva, over everybody. And Eddie Feely picks up the trash that time. It's his hustle. Moving it over to Urig Fox. Big shot. And nice work. That throw was a little too high for Sewell to attack it.
Yeah, he got caught in that unfortunate position of not knowing whether to jump or to keep running.
That's right. Using that side-to-side motion. Over to Meyer. All the way over. Still that lateral motion. Pollard with the disc. Strong mark by, it looks like, Gallagher. Back over to Pollard. Lots of give-and-go opportunities. They're just not hitting it. Has to break it over to Boucher. And Boucher, gets in front. And manages to put it in to Husak. Lots resting on Husak right now. He's really playing a great cutter position. He was behind the disc and in front of the disc. There's Husak right there. doing a great job working both sides, being that threat that we were talking about Simon being, where you're not sure where you want him to be because anywhere you put him, he's effective.
And the other thing, Husak last week, we expected many more touches from him, and he didn't get that many. So tonight we're really seeing the way he can get the disc and be effective. He's around that disc on both ends.
Now you're seeing that offensive line again. Very similar to last time. You've got Zemmel, El Salam, and Tridiak all in. Simon, of course, going to be the rock. And there's the D-line getting ready to try to put one more on the board and bring it within one.
And another example, last point, Seattle getting their line in there. Foley, Sam Cooper playing on that D-line, and they had their shot.
That's right. Center to Simon. Little junky as they move it through to Jimmy Chu. Jimmy Chu stuck with the disc. Great defense there. Wonderful D by Hart, who's really doing his best to contain Simon and doing a pretty good job at it. Salam now a little caught. Moves a funky shot to Simon, who has to one-hand it but brings it in. Takes a giant shot over to Jimmy Chu, way deep. Brings it down, not in the end zone, but still chases it down. And dishes it over to Tommy Rosado for the score. Crowd loving it, but really, that's just an offensive point. That's always a job.
You know, the crowd, you can hear the students or the kids who are here tonight. They have coaches who are out on the field. Jimmy Chu, a longtime coach at the Evergreen School, so he's got a big contingent.
You got this crowd you see all loving it. If you want to show your support for the Seattle Rainmakers and get all the latest news, you can like them on Facebook.com/Seattle Rainmakers and follow Twitter at SeattleRainmakers.com. Or if you're looking at that Dogfish score and want to follow them, it's Facebook.com/Seattle Dogfish, and their Twitter is SF Dogfish. Ted Warble leaving the cheer. Oh, you can see Ren Caldwell on the left. She is the head trainer for the Rainmakers. That's Ren Caldwell of Caldwell Fitness.
Max and Gemma as well.
Pull going up. Bubernak covering it as the slow pickup.
Seattle coming back junk. They've had a lot of good rewards with the junk so far this game.
That's right. Over to Lee, who's going to tried the little lefty dish to Pollard, decided to bring it back, and instead sends it back. Very deep stack from San Francisco.
It was a quick transition that time to man.
That's right. It was a very successful one. Moves it back over. Tough shot. Hart brings it down and gets that lateral movement going. Ooh, too high, too high. Too high, and it just ends up going over everybody. And Gallagher getting up huge, one of the powerhouses, one of the most physical players on the Rainmakers. Gets up big, moving it over to Alex Duffel. Sleeve is going long. That shot could go. Duffel takes the under over to Fan. Sleeve now coming back underneath. Nobody wants to throw to him. Finally, they get it over to him. Over to the other side with Duffel. Faking it, then back to Feely. Feely over to Urg Fox, back to Fan. And there's a slick backhand over to Bubernak, who can't quite bring it down. And it's going to be back to the Dogfish. See if they can get this offense as a start over and bring it all the way back. There's Bubernak, not quite able to race that one down.
Seattle was moving it so well there. I think they could have continued to be patient.
Yeah, I like seeing what Duffel was doing there. Right now we got Hurst bringing it into the disc. Wow, it tries to get it off the line, but can't do it as Eddie Feely reads that up line, bounces over, takes it out, and then an immediate break for the goal to Todd Sleva. Puts it away. Another break for the Rainmakers, 15-11. This is getting to be a hole that's a little late in the game and a little deep for San Francisco Comfort.
That was a heck of a D by Feely.
15-11 Rainmakers with under 5 minutes left in this quarter. There's Todd Sleva. You know, he was open all day there. He started by streaking deep. Duffel looked that off and went the slow shot. Then he got it underneath. He gets it deep again. He's one of those cutters where you're never sure what side to be on him.
Yeah, and he was just working too. Working hard, and it paid off.
There's that Dogfish offense. You can see them crossing those arms, trying to stay warm there as McCarty in the center. Gonna get a... There's the disc back to the center. Seattle looking junky right now. They're going to try to dish it over. McCarty's looking open in a hole. And Bellinger open back. Moves it back to Bellinger. And then across to Yeager. Moves it straight up. You know, this zone by Seattle not working too well as they're trying to transition to man right now.
They're leaving a hole in the middle.
Nice bid by Sleva, but then transition too late and too sloppy as they punish it, with Ranahan getting in there for the goal.
The Dogfish really attacked that smart, being patient, and then just slicing it open through the middle.
Yeah, you know, those holes were a bit too big in the Seattle defense, and I'm not sure why they came down junk that time. Their man was working so well.
Yeah, what they did the prior time is they transitioned right away. They came junk immediately, and then after about 2 throws, I think they transitioned. That time they stayed in it.
There you go. Well, that might be head coach Gusson trying something new. There's a great bid by Sleva. He just can't make up the distance on that late transition. You're absolutely right. The transition can give up a throw or two, but if that throw or two is in the end zone, that's too late. Deep shot. It's going to be taken by Rupp. Great pull there.
You can see now the wind has completely calmed down.
And Simon shooting a giant flick over to Zemmel, where Bellinger's going to get there. Goes over both of them to Entz. Crowd more excited than I think Coach Gusson would be. Back to Simon. And the Rainmakers put it in. 3:46 left. And you see Entz, who's reading that, taking the disc, getting congratulations left and right. You know, a little secret to Entz there. He's 6'6", and I think San Francisco, oh, there you see it pops over everybody, and he gets it. A little secret there. I think people are guarding him thinking, the man's 6'6", what do I do? He's one of the broad-shouldered big men. But he's been getting the disc just coming under and being able to successfully put those Rainmakers up 4.
Simon, that wasn't exactly the throw he was looking for there. He probably wishes he could have it back, but the outcome sure was great for the Rainmakers.
And certainly great for the fans who are getting loud over here, cheering their home team, hoping for the win to make up for that loss by 2 last week. Center over to Corey Lee. There's a vertical stack out of the Dogfish in a double team. Moves it back to Pollard. Ooh, Rory had a chance at that. Gallagher backs off, and there's Boucher with the disc.
He's so lethal in the middle in the zone attack.
He's really getting it wherever he wants. You've got Biener trying to defend him. There's a big shot to the end zone. And the crowd being happy that Fong comes in and picks up that D with a better read. Little dish, a blade shot over to Gallagher. Moves it open. They got to move that disc quickly or just shoot it straight up. There's Urig Fox, who's just going to chase it out to the track as Boucher watches it go out of bounds.
A little too excited on that one. The release hooked on him.
You know, they had too many people open, and maybe they should have just calmed down and tried to take the easy undershots instead of that deep one. There's Pollard coming in with the disc. Goes for the big flick huck right away to Boucher. Boucher can't get it over Gallagher. Boucher looking at the refs, but the refs say Gallagher got that one.
And now with the wind calming, we can see players are looking big.
That's right. They're getting excited. They haven't been able to huck all game. And there's the timeout call by Seattle.
Enough of this madness, says Coach Steve Gusson. Now this is their opportunity to go up 5.
That's right. Rainmakers up 16-12. Ted Warble with the hometown excited. There's Adam Simon. That disc has been running through him all day. That disc, of course, is an Innova Pulsar, the official disc of the MLU. It's designed in cooperation with players and staff of the MLU, and the new Pulsar is the perfect disc for the pro game. Get your Pulsar today at shop.mlultimate.com or visit innovadisc.com for a look at the rest of their product line, including world-class disc golf gear.
San Francisco talking about what they need to do to stem the tide. They've been donating with choices. I think their throwing choices have been questionable.
You know, this is looking almost the opposite of the game last week and all 4 games against them last year, where almost all the games were decided within 2, and in almost all of them, the Seattle took a lead, and then the Dogfish came back with a surge at the end. In this game, it looks like it's the Dogfish who are running out of steam.
Defense back on the field for the Dogfish. Be interesting to see how they do come fourth quarter.
You're going to have Simon picking up the disc with Rupp back. Rainmakers are really leaning on these handler sets.
And here comes the double team. Seattle's got to spread and find the open man.
That's right. You got Weaver and Hart on the double team. Long arms trying to stifle, and a junk D below. Simon not sure what to do. Tries a scuba and counts on 6-6 ends to be able to get it. Oh, but then a little throwaway. El Salam just missed. El Salam a big target, but couldn't hit him. Dogfish moving through. Big fake by Bryden. Back over, and there's a call with the disc in Dixon's hands. It was not a foul on the mark. Trying to take his 10 steps. That's not the call. Minute 40 left in the quarter. Down 4. They really got to put this in. Close from El Salam, but it stays in Bryden's hands. Moving it over to Stearns. Stearns shooting it up, and San Francisco Dogfish keeping it alive. Weaver picks that up, and that's the one that doesn't work.
He's got
Zemmel
Jimmy
getting physical against Weaver there as a big shot goes up to Entz. And there's 3 people collide, but it looks like Bellinger swatted that one away. And Dogfish are going to take it.
I don't think the throwers are realizing, excuse me, Jake,
Go ahead.
the wind has actually picked up a little bit again. And so we've seen some throws bend that I think they thought were going to be flat.
Nice shot by Stearns. Back over to Bellinger. And can't quite make that invert flick work. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think they got a little excited when the wind calmed down, opened up their game, and now that the wind is back, they're not closing their game down like they should. Rupp trying to get the disc back to Simon. He succeeds, thanks to a little fall down by Hart. Back to Rupp. All right, finally, Rosado comes out to stop the Rupp and Simon show. Entz with the disc totally unmarked, brings it over to El Salam. And there's a shot, not sure to who, goes over everybody, and it's tipped down. With 3 seconds left, there's the shot, not going to make it. And that was too late, not going to count anyway. To bring the third quarter to a close. Still, Rainmakers up by 4, 1 quarter left. That's a good position for Seattle. Dogfish have got to be a little frustrated being down 4 with just 15 minutes to go.
A lot of game left.
10 minutes, and I don't want to give any spoilers here, but on the East Coast, just a couple hours ago, that game came down to a last minute. It was the DC Boston game. The Current against the undefeated from 2013 to now, Whitecaps, came down to a buzzer beater in the 10th hour. It was a buzzer beater hammer.
Wow. I'll have to check that one out.
Looks like during that third quarter powwow, they talked about the wind a little bit. Let's bring this game down. And you saw that roller pull and going straight into a zone. This is a wind defense for sure.
Seattle bringing the double team.
That's right. Double team on Hurst. Hammer over. Very pretty, as if there is no wind. That was over to Meyer. Meyer pretty stuck there. Whoa, that's a rough dump to Pollard. A little break again. Over to Hurst. Now they're really moving the ball well. Seattle has to get that transition down. And the transition worked decently. Duffel stuck with 2 players. He picked one. Pollard was not the one, so Pollard's open. Nobody on him. Finally, Feely picks it up. Moving it all the way around. Hurst over. Caulfield going back. And there's the shot from Boucher. Whoa! Close. Close. But Meyer manages to bobble it, bring it in like a juggler. He'll take it. 16-13 Rainmakers. Brings it within 3 with just a minute.
That's what Dogfish wanted to do. Come out, be efficient, be smart. And you could see they were more patient there. I wouldn't be surprised if that was some of their conversation.
You know, they've also quickly quieted down this home team crowd, and that does affect the home team advantage. The Seattle Rainmakers really live off of their home crowd, which gets pretty loud at times, and right now is just silent. You can almost hear what's going on the field. There's that shot, little bobble, gets it before it hits the ground. Feely clapping his hands, just hoping that was going to hit. San Francisco ready for a pull. They're going to have to put a couple breaks on the board here. That is a monster pull if that stays in bounds. It's floating, and it's not dropping fast enough. Lands about 4 yards out. You see Tridiak taking his time walking up. MC Ted Warble getting that home crowd fired up.
Seattle back to their hoe stack, going with the horizontal stack to see if they can get things moving. That was a lot more effective for them than the vertical stack has been off of the initial pull play.
You know, Seattle's handlers, you see Simon with the disc and Rupp and Zemmel back, have been having no trouble moving the disc between each other. They're over to Zemmel. They have had trouble connecting with the downfield defenders. Maybe that's why they went horizontal. Bringing it over to Tridiak. Tridiak with that hammer, pinpoint hammer. Indeed. Great D by McCarty. Tommy Rosado looking for a call on that. McCarty just got up, read that well, and batted it down.
Seattle getting a little bit away from what was working for them, which was moving that disc. We've seen some big shots not work out in the last few minutes.
There's Boucher on Simon. Disc a little trapped in the corner. Nice flick break. Moving it all the way over. There's Bryden moving it back to the center with McCarty. There's a possible open deep shot. And there the shot goes. Over to Adamson. Adamson's going to have to sky. He's going to have to get up. He gets up and can't get up. Over Danny Tridiak. Tridiak, you know, he's a defensive player. He's extremely dangerous with the disc. And as you can see, he's dangerous anywhere on the field.
Great play by Danny.
Maybe felt a little bad about that hammer turn. Wanted to make sure he got it back for the Rainmakers.
A little redemption.
There's Rupp a bit with the vertical stack, and San Francisco playing man. Simon needs to get it out of his own end zone. Succeeds in doing that, moving it up to Jimmy Chu. Chu with a big shot. Khalif El Salam is going to run it down. A great shot by Chu. El Salam doesn't even have to move. He just hits him in stride. Salam stuck with the disc a little bit. Tries a shot to Danny Tridiak. And again, pretty throws make for easy, good-looking catches.
Those were gorgeous throws. Rainmakers deliver there.
Tridiak says, that'll do. That'll do.
Yeah, Jimmy Chu, another player with a big forehand huck. And we saw a gorgeous one there to Khalif, who had steps.
You know, it looked like Tridiak's defender, so that puts them up by 4 again. Tridiak's defender wasn't even expecting that. That is a tough shot by Khalif. You're looking at somebody's numbers. You're looking directly at their back. You have to curve that disc around. There's not a big window to throw into.
Yeah, some coaches do not like to see that throw straight down the field like that. It's a tight window. I saw Khalif hesitate and then decide, yeah, I'm going to let it go. And he threw absolute beauty.
That's right. The defense can't even see it until it's past them, which means the defender, even if it skates right by their ear, they don't have a shot at it. There's the center to Boucher. as San Francisco comes out with a side stack. Nice move there. Went deep, drew a defender, comes back and just tears it underneath. Looks like Hurst with the disc. And, wow, ooh. No call on that one as Gallagher gets up behind. Oh, there is the call.
Yep. They're calling Gallagher for the contact there.
The refs are debating between themselves. You can see John Ladd there. And they're discussing whether that was a turnover or a goal. They're going to go discuss it with the players right now.
I'm not sure Rory Gallagher needed to make that contact to make that D. Of course, it's hard to pull up when you're going hard.
And now they're signaling. Well, they're signaling wait as they discuss again. You see the officials bringing it in as the players on the field. There's that shot to Danny Tridiak. Beautiful shot.
Another instance, though, of the Dogfish putting one up that hangs a bit, giving Seattle opportunities.
That's right. It looked like a great play call. I mean, that was a deep shot that drew a defender, came back under, got a 40-yard gain, and you have somebody wide open in the end zone, but those flicks end up popping up. Officials finally get it sorted out. They're calling there was a foul, and so Dogfish are going to get it in the front of their end zone. There's Boucher behind the disc trying to play a little field general. As the disc is coming in with Stearns. Disc is in. Stearns just has 1 inch to get it. And the jump in by Boucher puts that point on the board. Rainmakers still up 3. Dogfish battling it out. Down 3. Little hole for 6 minutes left.
Seattle played pretty good defense there, but Boucher, tricky from the dump position, sneaking forward.
That's right. Dogfish trading points with Rainmakers, but they're going to have to put these breaks in if they want to bring this game up.
Seattle would love to close this game out in front of their home crowd, build this momentum going forward.
Absolutely. See that offensive line? It's got the standard handler set. They are mixing up the downfielders a bit. You have that handler set of Rupp, Zemmel, and Simon. And downfield, they've got, looks like Rosado, Entz, and El Salam. And that might be Jimmy Choo.
And both teams on the sideline talking about their respective groups to make sure that they're dialed in for the last 6 minutes of this game. The San Francisco offense, the Rainmaker defense. Gustin brought them in, had them refocus. You want everything on all cylinders going out to finish this game.
That's right. Bellinger with a big pull as the Dogfish really hustling down. You see Hart taking the lead. He's going to go over and take Simon. Moves it straight over to Chu. Chu finds Entz. Entz drops it, but there's a travel on Chu. It's going to be down back there anyway. Once again, Entz being backed so much by Weaver there that he's able to just come over underneath and get a open 30-yard shot.
First travel call of the game. I was wondering when we were going to see one of those.
Well, those travels are big penalties. It's an automatic turnover. Boyd Meredith with the disc, looking for somebody to throw to. Nice little break. The invert break to Weaver, who then puts it in. That is a break for the Dogfish. That's got to be a little scary. There's 6 minutes left, and the Dogfish have just brought it in within 2. This game is closing up.
Mm-hmm. Let's see new life here on the San Francisco sideline.
And you see those coaches, Safety, just pushing this D-line back in. You guys just got a break. Stay in, stay in, stay in. Get another. It's going to be Bellinger with the pull again. We're seeing Bryden over there. And it's going to be the same offensive set from Seattle. Well, a replay for both teams here. Pull's coming up. Rupp's going to take it if it lands in bounds. As it does, center it over to Simon. There's a horizontal stack. And the play goes straight across to Danny Tridiak, but it's broken up by Bellinger, who pulled that, came across. Bellinger with the disc again, looking for another break that would bring this within one. This is a scary time for Seattle. Excitement for San Francisco as they move it back to Weaver. Back to Bellinger. Bellinger holding on to the disc, middle of the field, throws a flick that gets past everybody. And there's a timeout called. Is that going to be before the turnover? That's going to be the million-dollar question. As Seattle's up by only 2, they were up by 4 just 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, it looks like that saved the turnover there.
San Francisco's going to be able to put their offense in, and that is going to be a big point if they can put this one in.
Yeah, the Rainmakers were a little too locked in on their cutter and not seeing the man poaching off in the lane.
That's right. That play call had Tridiak coming across, but Bellinger read that. Bellinger coming from the other side of the field on that horizontal defense comes across, and nobody saw him coming except him.
It'd be great to see the Rainmakers get some of that lateral movement that we saw early in the second half, shooting it back and forth, finding the openings, and then going downfield.
You said it well, Britt. I think that lateral movement, a big advantage of it is it moves the disc so the defense doesn't know where that disc is coming from. It's very hard to watch your man and know where that disc is. Bellinger there had all the advantage. He was on the sideline and could see the entire field. He read that play, came in, and made the play. It's Ted Warble trying to get that Seattle crowd riled up.
The master crowd worker.
You see those hoodies everywhere. Rainmakers true to their name. As the play's about to come in, San Francisco offense with an extremely spread. They're isoing Boucher, who gets tipped away by Fan. Fan going deep, but nobody's going to pick it up. They're up to 5 minutes left. Feely picks up the disc. Over to Sliva.
This is where they need to be solid.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is where they have to show why they're ahead. Duffel with the disc, going into a vertical stack. This is their defensive line now because of that timeout where that switch happened.
I like what Feely did there. He came and gave Duffel the dump so that he had someone as a safety valve because everyone was a little bit deep downfield.
Got to say, that offensive attempt by San Francisco was an ISO for Boucher. Fan comes out. Fan, who couldn't quite get that disc. Fan comes out and gets the D on Boucher behind the disc. That is a very difficult defense. Big shot by Boucher. Over to Caulfield. That disc is just floating. Caulfield gets it over Sliva. Dishes it over to Corey Lee for the goal. And wow, that brings this game within 1 as the San Francisco Dogfish are storming back in Renton Memorial Stadium, Seattle's home team.
Fan with the great D, Seattle with the golden opportunity to avoid another turn. San Francisco prevails.
Really turning into Dogfish games, and Seattle's got to be a little frustrated. This was their MO last year, as they would drop it in the fourth quarter, and you know that that's getting in their heads right now.
Yeah, they need to be really moving the disc quickly, get back to that snappy, dynamic movement that they had earlier, and frankly, kind of the party mode they had where they were all smiles, big plays, getting that sight going.
They were having fun before. Now it's a little quieter, putting the same line out. And San Francisco Dogfish storming back, really showing a lot of composure. Big Blady roller pull. San Francisco showing a lot of composure when they're in the hole, bringing it back. Over to Danny Tridiak. Danny with the big throws. Not sure what to throw to. Takes it all the way across to Zemmel. The offense is so far away right now that the handlers don't have much to throw to. Besides the handlers, whoa, big bid, but Simon stays with it. Besides the handlers, the closest people are 40 yards away. Moving it over to Rupp, who's unguarded. Rupp a little lost, gets it over to El Salam. Salam thinking about that shot, decides to hold it. And wow, barely gets it. Pass to Diving McCarty, but Fresh catches it, moves it over to Chu, who moves it over to Rupp. Over to Simon on the other sideline. Simon dishes it, and El Salam brings it in the rain. Points to the clouds, bringing that rain. Little fun dance.
And that's what Seattle needs. Get things loosened up, get the smiles going.
Those are the smiles you were talking about, and that brought it. That smile with a point. 3.5 minutes left. Close game still, though. Seattle 18, San Francisco 16.
The score sounds familiar. A week ago, this is where they were.
A week ago, it was 16-all. San Francisco stormed up and ended it with a D. Who got that D last week?
Adamson
on San Francisco. Pulls through, gets the D, puts the nail in the coffin as San Francisco took it 18-16. Pull by Duffel. Low laser pull. Hits the ground. That's going to get it wet. There's plenty of rain out there. Centering the disc, not sure what to do right now.
San Francisco is going upwind now, and there you see it. That wind is picked up and is now coming more east-west, which is right in the face of San Francisco, and push that disc right down into the turf.
This would be a big momentum-killing break. If Urig Fox, nice break over to Duffel. Duffel sliding in that wet. And there's a timeout called as Seattle head coach Gusson pointing to himself, trying to explain, no, I'm the one who called it. Don't worry, guys. As a confused Seattle feels like the move was on our side. Why don't we stay in there?
I like the move by Coach Gusson there to call that timeout. The defense was moving the disc, but this is where you want to get your offense in and have them in charge.
Putting that offense in. Crowd getting up. I got to say, so far this quarter is a definite win for the Dogfish. Here's a replay of that nice dish over to Salam. You know, he's so open because he's on that far sideline, which is such a hard throw for Simon to make, but he gets it there. Home crowd getting noisy for Ted Warble. Throwing discs out into the audience for the Rainmakers.
Simon pulling his group together there to give him some last-second instructions on what he wants to see with his formation.
That's right. You see a couple Rainmaker shirts out there. If you want gear from your favorite team at the MLUshop.com, you can use MLU Live 10 for a 10% off discount. That's MLU Live 10 at MLUshop.com. Simon's going to bring the disc in with, you can see that panned out vertical stack. There's a play call. San Francisco going sticky man D, everybody on the person's hip. There's going to be no switching here. It's mano-y-mano, shut your man down. Moves it all the way over to Rupp and gets that side-to-side motion you were talking about over to Zemmel. Zemmel with that flick, difficult shot. Oh, going just over the head of Dixon, it looked like. And Danny Tridiak pulls the disc in, does a little spike, and breaks San Francisco back to bring Seattle up 3.
Sometimes it's just good to be lucky. That one got away from Zemmel and went over his intended receiver and the defender who was there, or nearly there.
That was a bit lucky, but you know, it started with those right fundamentals where that disc starts on the sideline, and they did exactly what you were talking about earlier. Move that disc across, make it so the defenders have to switch up where they're guarding because that disc is in a new position.
Yeah, I like that plan there. That with immediate effect was to get it over to Rupp in the middle of the field, and then they could move the disc much more freely.
Oh, exactly. That offense feels in control. 3 minutes left in the game. Dogfish down 3. That's Seattle is 19 now. San Francisco 16. As Duffel pulls. The wind a little gusty, moving left to right, a little bit away from us. Cusack gets the disc in the middle.
Boucher's downfield. He's going to look deep right away.
Big shot to Boucher, who, wow, bodies fan out and catches it. Boucher over to Hart. Hart swinging it right back to Corey Lee, who's open in the middle. Lee with no stall. Moves it back. And there's the break shot. And brought in, very nice sliding catch by Husak.
Excellent break throw. He really stepped wide to get that throw around the defender.
Bringing it within 2 now. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go.
Seattle needed to find Boucher earlier there. He hadn't gone deep yet today, and that was his immediate effect.
You think the Rainmakers got a little lulled into thinking Boucher is going to be the in-cut that they want with the disc instead of that out-cut?
Yeah, and at this point of the game, the Dogfish are looking to score quickly, so I think that should have been in their heads a little bit more.
That's right. It's the same reason we were talking about where Entz is able to get open under because everyone's guarding behind him. Boucher was able to sneak deep there because everyone's guarding him, making sure he doesn't get the disc. There's Boucher with the pull. He's staying in on defense, hoping for that quick turn so that he can be a rock of the offense. Disc centered to Simon. Danny Tridiak streaking deep, bringing some defenders with him, but San Francisco switches well and doesn't leave anybody too open, except Danny Tridiak gets it there. Deep shot option with Jimmy Chu. Decides instead for a last-second bailout hammer, which gets Deed there.
He did not have any options. Basically punted it.
He was. That was a hammer punt. San Francisco starting very deep in a vertical stack.
We're going to have a foul called downfield, I think.
Oh, that was El Salam. That's not going to count as a D. El Salam hits the ground, wants a call, then as the throw goes up, pops up like a burpee, runs over, and gets that D.
Looks like it's going to go against Seattle.
Crowd unhappy now that they're calling the foul that was on Salam originally.
Yeah, you can see El Salam's dynamic athleticism. He gets off the ground in a hurry.
That's right. They want to check and make sure that clock is reset.
Which, if you've ever seen Khalif dance, you can see some of the back flips and the rest of his moves. You've seen that before.
A little aggression there. I think tensions are getting a little high as this game is really close. That shot goes right away. Tommy Rosado, close. There's going to be a call. It's going to come back.
What's going on?
Well, tensions are getting high over here as this game has under 2 minutes to go. A 2-point game with the tie definitely in San Francisco's favor right now. Some people getting a little frustrated. Little bumps on the mark between Chu and Boucher. All right, everybody's taking a deep breath. Now there's a horizontal stack as we start. Tommy Rosado in the lane. Deep shot right away as Simon, wow, disc drops. Simon goes too far. And that looks like Stearns with the disc. Catches it, not sure what to do. Dumps it back to Boucher. Minute 30 left in the game. Gets over everybody. Oy, oy, oy. And can't bring it through. That was Hart. Looked like he was going to pick up some trash, but it ends up getting through him as well. Another turnover. Nope, that's going to be a foul. Simon's going to keep that disc.
Seattle really needs to calm down here, be patient, and move the disc. 1 minute to go.
There's only a minute left, 2 points. Seattle can just hold this disc. Oh, wow, what an athletic play by Hart, who read that, ran through. I'm sorry, that was Boucher. Wants to put it in right now. Having trouble. The hammer quiets the crowd. 48 seconds to the game. And San Francisco brings it within 1 with an incredible layout D by Boucher.
Yeah, uncharacteristic decision by Simon. He had already decided, I think, that he was going to swing that, and Boucher jumped it. And really, before it left Simon's hand, Boucher was making his play. Fantastic reflexes.
That's right. That's not just the athleticism to be able to get there. It's also the experience in this game to know, here's what I would do, here's what Simon's going to do, here's what I'm going to come through and get that D.
Yeah.
Home crowd's still getting excited, which is great. There's less than a minute to go. Only 1 point here. San Francisco has 18 to Seattle's 19. Boucher standing with the disc. You're not going to pull him out now. And they're seeing if they can't tie this one with just 50 seconds to go. Now for Seattle, do you think you just play your game or do you try to keep the disc and run that clock down?
They need to still move the disc. They've got to be smarter about finding the openings.
Oh no, uncharacteristic turn by Entz. And now there's 40 seconds left. Boucher moving it over. San Francisco with an opportunity to tie it up here. Gets it all the way over to Bryden. Bryden a little stuck with Salam on the mark. Finds Boucher. There's going to be a timeout called by San Francisco. Very tight. About 30 seconds left in the game. San Francisco got the turn with a drop from Entz. And now they're going to be switching out some players. There was Matty Zemmel, you saw, a little upset.
Gusson making a case. I think, is he saying they've...
Gusson doing what the coaches do. Go over and try to talk to the refs, tell them how wrong they are.
I thought he was trying to make a case that San Francisco has already called all their timeouts.
Oh, that's what he's doing right now. He's looking at Safdie, pointing to him. No, you had 3. All right. I'm wrong.
4.
Okay. Right. Coach Gusson doing what he can. Seattle defense getting on the field. There's Adam Simon. Coming off, you see Sleva walking on, and San Francisco not actually changing their players too much. They already had a bit of an offensive line out, counting on that turn. You see Boucher, Pollard, and Caulfield over there.
At about 20 yards out, 26 seconds, they really have time. They should be patient.
So if you're Seattle, do you go man, zone? What do you do here?
I think Seattle's got to go man. They've got to just go tight man and really hope to force a tight window. Maybe another throw that pops up.
I mean, that's a precision game, which is what San Francisco is good at, but I agree with you. There's not much to do. They're only 20 yards out. The stands getting loud on their feet, stomping like crazy, cheering on Seattle Rainmakers, hoping they can hold on to their previously 4-point lead. Boucher with the disc, 25 seconds left. Boucher not sure what he's looking at, moves it all the way over. Bidding Ends can't get there. Stands up, moves it up to Corey Lee, who's almost in the end zone, just 3 yards out. 11 seconds to go. Moves it over, 9 seconds, and that's going to be a goal for San Francisco. Big spike. Boucher, wow. Pulling it through, 6 seconds left, tie game. What a game this is turning into.
He was the guy that Seattle really needed to keep a tight leash on, and he got loose.
He has really exploded, taking over this game. He's the one with the critical D down there from the Simon swing pass over. And then just a couple drops, Entz had a drop. Hey, that happens. But, man, Boucher really capitalizing with the rest of the Dogfish, bringing it in. They were down 4 just 6 minutes ago.
So Seattle now 6 seconds to make something happen.
I'm guessing we're going to see a prevent from the Dogfish. With 6 seconds, they'll send 2 people down to double-team Simon, who's surely going to get the center. And all other 5 are probably just going to stay back in the end zone, play a game of 500. There's McCarty rolling it out of bounds.
Yeah, they want Zemmel or Simon sending this deep.
Sends it to Simon, and Simon's got to stand up and just shoot it. Oh, there's 2 seconds left as he gets 10 yards.
And this
San Francisco
going
playing
up.
slightly prevent. There's the shot. And Entz gets up, but can't bring it down. And 19-19 as the clock runs down. Great fourth quarter effort by the Dogfish to close up that gap.
What a comeback by the Dogfish.
I mean, it's unbelievable how consistent this is, that the Dogfish so reliably come back in the fourth quarter. They are just monsters at the end of the game.
Yeah, give them credit. Big D's. But also Seattle has got to be unhappy with the unforced errors, the drops, and questionable throwing choices.
Oh, there's going to be a call on that play as they're giving the disc back to Simon. getting it at the 50-yard line. Still a tie ball game, but they're going to get one more shot at playing 500. There's head ref John Ladd calling 10 seconds back on the clock for a violation. It's going to be another game of 500.
But they're letting the defender get in Simon's path, whereas I thought he had to step around before.
10 seconds over to Zemmel. Ensign El Salam sends it over towards Entz, but it gets down and batted down by the Dogfish, who have 2 seconds. Throw it away. That's all right. They're going to be happy going into overtime. 19-19. Boy, there is just parity all over the West Coast this year. So far, no game, including last season, of the 6 games, this is the 6th game in last season in this, that San Francisco and Seattle have played. None of them have ended with a score difference of more than 2 points.
These teams battle. They are very, very closely matched.
They are. This is fun to watch. 19-19 as Seattle regroups. San Francisco has got to be happy bringing it back from being down 4 in the fourth quarter, showing what they do time and time again, and snatch those wins from other teams in the fourth.
Now, Boucher and some of their other main guys have played a lot of points in the last few minutes as they made that run. Will they have the legs to finish this off? Although Seattle's offense was on the field repeatedly.
That's true. That's true. They're all getting a bit tired. The advantage for Seattle is tomorrow they get a rest day. San Francisco, if they're getting tired, if Boucher's feeling, cramps tonight, he's going to have trouble with the rest of the Dogfish taking on the Vancouver Nighthawks tomorrow. You're going to see an overtime flip, as there's going to be 5 minutes put back on the clock for an overtime little bonus frisbee. Crowd staying strong as it's getting a little chilly. And there's gusting winds again. See Buchanan, Tridiak, and Boucher ready for the flip. Little playfulness from him there. It's going to be Seattle's call. They're going to debate with this kind of wind. It's mostly crosswind, so I'm thinking you want to start on offense. It's not enough of an upwind downwind game.
Yeah, I think offense is definitely where you want to start.
That's right, as we're about to start overtime. And as expected, since they won the flip, Seattle called offense. And we're going to see Bellinger holding the disc. Looks like Boucher's taking a little rest now. Bellinger with the disc, 5 minutes. And it's a tie ball game. Great pull. Zemmel's going to bring it down. Center it to Simon. Really leading heavy on those handlers. Extremely deep stack from Seattle, but El Salam manages to pop underneath. Throws it up to Entz. Entz faking a hammer. Needs to get that disc off and can't quite do it. Great grab by Jaeger.
Yeah, they put the pressure on, and Entz was forced to put a high-pressure throw out there, not what he would like to be doing.
Jaeger hopping off the field, looks like just a cramp. No tragedy there.
And San Francisco getting back to their bread and butter of tight man. It's paying dividends.
And it is working. They shut down the dumps. They shut down Simon there on that sideline, and Entz was left not sure what to do. Disc is going to come in. Boucher bringing it in. He came in for Jaeger. Over to Dixon. And there's a uncharacteristic drop by Weaver. As Seattle gets their disc back in Simon's hands, that's where they want it. Simon moves it over. And there's a call called downfield.
Something going against Seattle.
It's a foul on a cutter, so Seattle's going to take a 10-yard back. Over to Simon. Seattle really is holding onto their disc with the handlers a lot, and you're not seeing a lot of action out of the cutters. Whoa, funky upside down shot called up by El Salam.
Yeah, they're trying to stay off of that downwind sideline, looking off the open Chris Rupp.
That's right. Zemmel back.
Again.
Absolutely. That's exactly what they don't want it with the wind, because now they're a little trapped there. That's where the turnover came last time with Entz when he was trapped all the way down on that sideline. But not a lot of movement downfield as the Dogfish playing sticky man and not having to work too hard. Floaty throw. Corey Lee can't get up over the long arms of Stearns.
Kicking themselves there, stranding their handlers and not getting dynamic movement.
I think you read that perfectly. They were looking off the open throws that were downwind, away from the camera, because when you're trying to shoot it back towards the camera, that's when those turnovers happen. That's when the disc gets caught up.
Another opportunity here, though.
High and floaty. Tommy Rosado gets the D there.
That's the way we want to hear Rosado's name.
Over to El Salam. El Salam with nobody on him. Giant hammer. Crowd loves it. Oh, and Tommy Rosado gets it. Dishes it over to a jumping Danny Tridiak. Celebrates, putting it up by 1. Rainmakers 20, Dogfish 19. 2:30 left in the game in the overtime at number 1.
Gritty point. Both teams really making tight windows there, but coming up with big catches.
You know, the same thing that gets the crowd excited for those photo moments, that big hammer. If you watch Steve Gusson, head coach for the Rainmakers, face, you can just see his chin drop down as he's thinking, this isn't what we talked about.
But at the end there, dialing up the fun factor again, getting the big grab, getting Tridiak skipping into the end zone, getting some smiles going. Let's see if they can get that momentum.
You're right, that crowd's helping them out. 2:30 left in this overtime. Rainmakers up 1 as Duffel rolls that pull out the far sideline. Corey Lee takes it before it gets out and flips it right away to Boucher. That's trouble for San Francisco.
The wind is wreaking havoc and nerves.
Wow. Big hammer by Eddie Feely. It's that fun factor again. The crowd loving it, them having fun, and as long as it works, it works. Big hammer from Eddie Feely over to Rory Gallagher. Not much San Francisco can do about that. Not much they want to do about that.
And that was, Feely just put a gorgeous throw out there. That's just perfect.
You know, the wind is really gusty right now, so it's pretty hard to know when you're throwing it. Is this a windy moment, or is it fine and I can throw that big hammer? Feely staying in, being excited. As Entz, Biener, Urig, Fox, Sleva coming in. There's that hammer again.
Gallagher with a nice read. It almost jammed him in the chest, but he was able to get turned around enough to make that grab.
Caulfield chasing, trying to get there, but it's just too big a shot on the break side throw. Corey Lee's going to get that disc and center it to Boucher. I like they didn't change that up. Boucher moves it all the way over.
Seattle coming junk again. San Francisco had a man open, but they did not hit him deep.
You know, they got 2 minutes, and they have to score 2 points here. All the way over to the side. Crowd cheering on Seattle for sure. Big home team advantage. Boucher with the disc on that far sideline. Corey Lee trying to come up line. Clears it out for
San Francisco wisely moving it off that sideline.
Nice bid by Biener, but now he's out of position, has to catch up. Struggling a little bit to find their man-on-man. Corey Lee just 10 yards out of the end zone right now. Back to Boucher. Boucher thinking about a hammer as he's drawing the foul from the double team. Gets it 10 yards, all the way on the end zone. No, it's going to be halfway to the end zone, not all the way. Teaching Boucher the rules there a bit. Corey Lee and Eddie Feely trying to do the double team on Boucher to be able to stop him. He gets it 5 yards out. Somebody's open, but it's a hard shot. There's the shot, goes up. Isaac Entz, 6'6", is going to be waiting. And Isaac Entz, the Frost Giant, summoned from the deep, comes up and pulls that one out of the
Rainmakers
hands.
gambling there with the double team and comes up big.
Absolutely. You know, that's exactly what that was. That was a gamble. They're saying, look, we're going to leave somebody open, but if you can hit that, good luck. That throw comes off, and it's what Seattle was hoping for. Same thing out of the San Francisco defense now. Same try with the hammer, and Biener reads it, brings it down, and keeps that disc moving. This is turning into a bit of a circus. Wow, big collision there as Caulfield comes down with the disc. No calls. 30 seconds left. There's a turnover. That's going to be the game. There's 2 points left. Shot going over to Skip Sewell. It's going to be a fight. Goes over Skip, but that's okay. 20 seconds left.
Oh, the folly of youth, though. Why go deep when you can just play catch? Milk that clock for 20 seconds.
You know, that's that fun that when it works, it works. When it's not working, they're really playing with fire a little bit here, but with only 20 seconds left and a 2-point lead, they're able to. They don't have to get burned. Keeping it fun for the crowd, though. A little bit of extra 5 minutes of free ultimate. And showing them lots of upside-down throws, big plays, big skies. Fun game to watch.
Giving Coach Gusson a few extra gray hairs.
Here's the D by Entz, who gets up and just powers it through, being careful not to run in to the offensive player before hitting the disc, keeping that clean.
Yeah, Seattle played that so smart. Boucher was really, he had some taller defenders around him with those arms up, and he did not have a lot of options, so had to float a hammer. Entz was able to track it down, and that's a great matchup for him.
Absolutely. All right, we got a smile on head coach Gusson's face. I'm guessing somebody told him a joke because you can't be happy with that offense. It's Boucher out there, but there's 20 seconds left. They'd have to score this in about 8 seconds to have a shot at tying this game up again.
Yeah, what kind of magic are the Dogfish going to conjure now?
Cusac's coming in with the disc. Cusack starts with a giant hammer, hoping that Boucher can bring it in, and he does. Boucher rocking it over. Todd Sleva can't get it, and that's brought down by Caulfield. 7.6 seconds left. Dogfish bring it within 1. I wouldn't be too worried if I were Seattle, but I wouldn't be confident either.
Yeah, they need to be able to take care of the disc here. 7.6. The Dogfish are making things happen.
You know, even if they just take the disc and hold it, there's a 10-second stall. They'll do that. Even if they just take the disc.
7-second stall.
7-second stall, I'm sorry. Even if they just take the disc and hold it, you know, that doesn't give you a lot of confidence coming into next week's game where they're going to face the Dogfish again thinking, boy, we were up 4 on them. They came back and almost took that game from us.
And Boucher, again, being that man in the middle, coming down with that hammer, beautifully thrown hammer to get that going, and then Boucher with a great strike. But the wind has really been tricky tonight. A lot of guys jumping early, and then we've seen guys coming in for second, third chances and making plays.
Disc is rolling out of bounds. You're going to have Simon bringing it down on the sideline with 7.6 left to go. Rupp and Zemmel behind, and just a deep stack. It's going to be a game of 500. Trying to stop it with the... He's just going to let the clock run out. Zemmel drops it. Nobody minds. And the game is over. That throw, which could have been something, isn't going to count regardless. They're just having fun at this point as Seattle takes down the San Francisco Dogfish in the tightest game we've seen this year.
Phenomenal win for Seattle. Starting the season off at home right.